after the awkward transition from episode 1 to what is now episode 2 of almost seemingly a completely different show, let me formally introduce everyone to the second episode of Deviating Tangents, a variety show where we try to talk about a central point of the episode, only to get lost almost immediately, hoping to find our way back.
And if we don't, then that's not too big of a deal, because if we're talking about something else, that's probably more interesting.
Yeah, hopefully the new thing we're talking about is equally, if not more exciting. But we'll be your hosts for the next foreseeable hour and a half, maybe. My name is Connor, and with me I'm joined by...
And I'm Scott.
Anybody here know what a hypothetical is?
Hypothetically, yes, I do.
Hypothetical. I don't know why I asked as though I were going to get somebody responding. Like, in the aether, someone was going to go, I know what a hypothetical is! And then I was like, yes, you random citizen, you were smart. Have a gold star.
Well, it's like Dora the Explorer. We ask questions and wait for the audience that we know can't respond to us.
Like a really uncomfortable amount of time. Do you see the house?
Good job!
But no, a hypothetical is essentially it's a question without a real answer, or if it has an answer, the answer makes you question your morality.
Yeah, it's meant to make you think.
It makes you think. And so one of my favorite ones, and we were actually talking about this a few weeks ago. I think this was before we started recording episode, what would have been, if we had started from the actual beginning, what would have been episode 2. What if you didn't have feet? What if your feet were just more hands? Like monkeys, I guess. Would shoes still exist, or would you have gloves for your hands? Would the concept of kicking still exist, or would it be a leg punch? Would your legs be called lower arms?
How would transportation and things differ?
Yes, if at all.
Yeah.
Because I could imagine if you're, what is a hand? What is a foot but a less dexterous hand?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, technically, some of the same bones and structures are in your hands and feet.
Yeah, they're named the same, even if they're designed differently.
Dr. Regina Phalanges.
Wasn't that from...
That's from that show I don't like.
I was about to say, wasn't that Lisa Kudrow's made-up Friends character thing? Yeah.
Yep, when she's being a doctor. I don't dislike Friends. I was
asking a hypothetical. I was asking a hypothetical, and you're like, I don't hate Friends, but...
Welcome to Deviating Tangents.
So, no, we're going to talk about my thing. It's funny, before you came over, I was sitting here, I'm like, I should just text Scott randomly before he comes over. You're going to be on your deathbed, having suffered from, like some type of like brain trauma that forces you to like forget like most things of your life, but the last thing you're going to remember...
Why you gotta say that? Like, that's an actual concern I have.
The last thing, you're gonna be on your deathbed, and the last thought, the last conscious thought that goes through your head before you go,
I should have watched Friends.
Is Joey doesn't share food. But feet. What are feet? What are feet but less dexterous hands?
I mean, I can see it. There's, I don't know, there are some things that you wouldn't think to do with your feet or think to do with your hands and would just have to do with your feet. Like, you're not gonna stomp on something by punching it.
Yeah. But at the same time, you can do things with your feet that people wouldn't think to try.
I mean...
Like, feet are made for standing, they're made for walking.
Yeah. I've seen the contortionists shoot bows and arrows with their feet.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff.
I don't.
Because like the strength required to be able to keep that bowstring taut. Because like if that were a real like an English longbow from like the Dark Ages, the drawstring would be like 110 pounds. So let's just assume it's like a high-class sports bow with, I'm just going to ballpark it, a drawstring of 50 pounds. Can you pull that with just the muscles of your leg? Sure.
And not just pull the string back, but also have the core strength to do that while you're standing on your hands.
Yes, and be able to aim.
Yeah.
It's not just that they can draw and loose an arrow from a bow with nothing but their feet, but you see people like getting all near bullseyes. Mm-hmm. That's just crazy, especially considering how screwed up your angle of vision is.
Yeah, because usually you have the bow directly in front of your face, so you can, squint one eye and that's your aiming. But if you're upside down on your hands, the bow is like 2 or 3 feet above you.
Yeah.
So how do you compensate for the difference in angle
and
there?
And then wind.
Yeah.
I'd imagine being able to aim a bow from underneath it, aiming with your legs, has to take like the same type of like mental mapping that like
snipers use.
Or like playing golf.
Okay, yeah.
Like you have a particular angle on your payload, I guess, and then you can't, because you're not standing right behind it. It's not like a 1-to-1. It goes forward unless affected by wind, because that's how arrows and bullets work. But
and speaking of golf, it's not a game for me. It's not really something I enjoy. Mini golf is a different story.
Mini golf isn't even a game. It's an activity that you spend time hanging out with your friends.
We should go mini golfing.
I want to go mini golfing before the winter time.
That said, there's a lot of math behind golf to play well. Like the dimples on the ball aren't there for show. Those are there for aerodynamics.
Yep. They make the ball fly as straight as possible.
To the point where, Mythbusters did that scaled up to a car for fuel efficiency.
With like not just like minimal results.
Yeah, no, it was significant. And beyond that, just the force that you use to hit the ball, the wind that day, just even down to what type of grass that the ball is landing on.
And like they keep everything separated into different stages to make you think about the best way to get out of a situation.
There's so much math, so much planning, just so much skill involved in playing this game well. And I don't really like that it's seen as just the old rich white people sport, because this is a very intense skill-based game, and I understand calling golf intense is kind of an oxymoron. I guess
it's like mentally taxing.
Yeah. And I think that contributes to why everyone needs to be silent when they're hitting the ball, because there's just so much going on in your head. That said, I don't understand why people flip out over missing a putt or something. Okay, you messed up, but now you just broke your hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of clubs.
Yeah. Why do clubs need to be that expensive?
They're just sticks of metal.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But it's like, now getting frustrated at missing a putt, I can totally get.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just drove the ball from like the from like the tee, from tee off. I drove it all the way up the fairway, landed on green. Mm-hmm. That should be the hard part, and I did it perfectly. And then, but I can't hit the ball 30 inches into the goal. The hole. So, no, I totally get, like, the frustration of missing a putt. The concept of how many hits should it take to sink a ball.
And how are those numbers determined? Like, do the person who makes the course just play through it and like, oh, this is what it took me to do.
Yeah.
So now those are the numbers.
So someone who's never played golf before. So it's entirely dependent on the creator of the course. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just a landscaper. I don't play golf. Well, you made it. So now you have to play through it. All right. This first hole is a par 27. There's only 10 strokes. And it's not my fault you have a plus 16.
And that's the other thing. How do handicaps work in golf? That's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but I don't like. Do you just take strokes off at the end of the game, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey Scott.
Yeah.
What if Ronald McDonald came up to you on the street and put his hand on your shoulder and he was like, "You're my long lost son, and I'm terminally ill, and you're going to inherit the Ronald McDonald family fortune"?
Are you saying I'm a clown?
No, I'm just saying, what would you do? What would you do if Ronald McDonald came up to you on the street and did all that?
I mean, like, I probably wouldn't believe it, because like,
what if...
So like, is it just some guy who says he's Ronald McDonald,
No.
or some guy in a
Ronald
clown suit?
From the commercials.
Okay, that gives even less credence to it, because why is this guy in face makeup talking to me?
I don't think Ronald McDonald has like the fake clown nose.
Yeah.
But under the assumption that he did in this particular argument, what if he was like, because you're very skeptical. You're like,
yes.
You're like, I don't believe you, Ronald McDonald. And he's like, I have proof. And he takes off the clown nose and he puts it on your nose and it fits perfectly. And he's like, need I say more? Now, mind you, the Ronald McDonald family fortune is not tied to the success of McDonald's.
Correct.
So it's not, you're not inheriting McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
you're inheriting the Ronald McDonald family fortune. Whatever that is. I don't know if there is a Ronald McDonald family fortune. I'm just saying, a clown walked up to you on the street and said, "You're my son." How would you take that?
Not well. I would probably completely brush them off.
Go away from me, creepy clown man. I like Ronald. He's not a scary clown.
So, speaking of Ronald and creepy clowns.
No.
Yeah. So, do you remember the trend of creepy clowns in 2016?
Was that 2016?
Yeah, it was 2016.
Where, like, when it came out and people were, like, dressing up as Pennywise and stuff and, like, trying to scare people.
Not quite Pennywise, but yeah. So there were just, clowns
just
all over the place for no
dangerous
no
clown
reason.
stuff. The mad clown posse.
Something like that. Have you noticed that Ronald McDonald hasn't been in McDonald's commercials since then?
Since before that.
They started phasing him out because of all the clowns.
It was long before that.
He was still there, but not as predominant.
Like probably out of the merchandising.
Yeah.
Because Ronald McDonald hasn't been in a McDonald's commercial since like 2006.
Something like that. But now he's just like not associated with the franchise at all, except for people who remember him being associated with the franchise.
Speaking of being associated with the franchise, neither are we.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored by McDonald's. It's
or
just,
anyone, really.
It happens to be a topic. Everybody knows what a McDonald's is.
Yeah.
So that makes it a fun topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Speaking of McDonald's, though, do you remember when McDonald's is, more than one, used to have, like, GameCubes in them? And before that, N64s?
Yes. So the one that used to be where I worked, I think still has them.
What?
Yeah. I don't know if they work, but I think the TVs are still there.
Because I know the one that's right back up this way. I know this is real fun for those of you playing at home to try to triangulate our position.
He's pointing stage left.
So it would be stage right because I'm facing the audience.
Whatever.
Regardless, the one that was back up this way, for the longest time had them.
Mm-hmm.
And when they remodeled in 2000, whatever,
mm-hmm.
I want to say 2012, 2013, and they took it out, and I was livid. I was pissed. I was like, no, that was the whole point of going. It wasn't the silly Happy Meal toy, the crappy Happy Meal toy.
The Transformers, but it's just a burger.
Yeah. Burgertron. Transform.
I remember loving those toys. Inspector Gadget was like 7 different toys.
Yeah, and you had to collect all of them to like make the most out of the base toy.
Yep. Because the base toy is just, Inspector Gadget's face with the back half of his torso that did nothing.
Yeah.
But you could also get his arm that was like a flashlight. His other arm was a screwdriver or something.
Yeah.
The front part of his body was like a communicator or some kind of cell phone-ish device.
Yeah. There was... I love that every interpretation of Inspector Gadget, he's like supposed to be like the mechanical, like RoboCop, but for kids, and way more accessible.
The bumbling idiot.
Yes, but it's like this is almost $1 Million Man situation.
Mm-hmm.
You had amazing technology that was able to make this man a cyborg, but his stuff doesn't even function right. He's fallen off a cliff, and there's an episode of the cartoon that I remember very fondly where he's tracking down Dr. Claw, doing typical Inspector Gadget thing, and he drives off a cliff. And he's like, now would be a perfect time to activate my go Gadget Copter. And Gadget neck goes off. And he just goes straight up. And so halfway through the fall, he's like, not Gadget neck, Gadget Copter. And neck just keeps extending back up past the cliff, where Brain just happens to be there as he watched him fall, and he grabs him by the neck, and it keeps him from, like, falling to his death. But Copter never goes off.
I question the logistics of that. If he drove off the cliff, how is a dog grabbing hold of his head going to save him from anything?
Because Gadget neck extends to a certain length and then stops.
Yeah, but, like, wouldn't the force of the already... assuming terminal velocity car falling off a cliff, wouldn't that outweigh a dog?
Well, no, he pulls Gadget out of the car.
Okay. I suppose.
Which, even so, a full-grown male with plenty of hardware inside of them should definitely help the pulling of a dog off a cliff.
Not that we want to see a dog fall off a cliff.
No, Brain's adorable.
Yeah.
Brain's smart. Very smart.
Probably how he got his name.
Yeah. That's one of the tropes in TV that I never really minded. Like, the main character is like a bumbling idiot, but like the sidekicks are like the super geniuses.
Yeah.
Because it's always Penny and Brain actually thwarting Dr. Claw's plan.
The what? Hong Kong Phooey, where his little nephew there is the actual hero.
Yeah. I also like, what I like about, speaking of Hong Kong Phooey, what I like about that show is that it's like the looks can be deceiving bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because it's in the intro. It's like, who could be this mysterious, like masked crusader or whatever.
Yeah.
That's Batman. But, it's like, could it be the police chief? It's like, nope. And it's like, could it be the police telephone operator? It's like, nope. Could it be the humble, like peace-loving janitor? Could be. And then the intro starts, and
why does that remind me of Jackie Chan Adventures?
Because I don't know, because like martial arts and Jackie Chan's known for that.
Yeah, I guess.
Good show.
Yeah.
Really good show.
Yeah. Kind of took a turn in later seasons, but still pretty good.
All 2 of them.
Well, yeah.
Was there 2? Maybe there was 3.
So television seasons are weird to me because like there are things that are different seasons based on when they aired, but like you have different story arcs within those seasons.
And it's also who owns them controls that, like, certain archaic rules. Like Disney has a thing where no show is allowed to have more than, like, I think it's 64 episodes.
I think it's 63, but
63
something like
in
that.
its entirety.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you grew up watching shows like the My Little Mermaid animated series, Aladdin, Hercules, Kim Possible, all of those shows maxed out their episode capacity. So when they were finished, they weren't canceled, they were finished. Disney wouldn't let the IPs go longer.
Yeah. They wanted the shows to end before they got stale.
Yes.
Which okay, I can kind of understand. On the other hand, some of those shows were like I want to watch the entirety of the Lilo and Stitch animated series.
Yep.
I want to find all of the
Every
cousins.
episode needs to be an experiment.
Yes. Or even if they double up. There were a couple episodes where they found two
Like
or
more
three
than-
experiments. Yeah. But like
That's hard on
626 experiments.
That's really hard on the writers.
Yeah.
So each one of them has to be unique, and yeah.
Plus, speaking of unique, it's easy to say, oh hey, 6 is experiment 626, and Jumbo Jukipa has made 625 experiments before then without showing any of them because it's just a plot device.
Yeah.
But then if you start a series for that, now you need to come up with 600 unique characters, all with their own powers.
Wasn't there, like, in the movie, wasn't there, like, a plot device that, like, Stitch's molecular structure is too dense, so that's why, like, he can't handle water, because, like, he'll just sink to, like, the bottom of the ocean.
So he's just a Sonic.
Yes. Well, it's like his molecular structure is, like, super dense, but he needs to breathe air.
I could believe it's been a while since I've seen the movie.
What if there's just a really dark side of the show that all of the experiments happen to be that way, but most of them landed in the Pacific Ocean and drowned before they had a chance to do anything?
That got a lot darker than I thought it was going. No, I think there were some experiments that actually excelled in water and could swim.
That's fair.
I don't remember. I do remember
there had
sandwiches.
to be at least a water one.
Probably.
Reuben is the best experiment. Let's talk about experiment 625. He is exactly everything Stitch is, and more.
Mm-hmm.
He's just nonviolent.
He doesn't care.
He can speak better than Stitch can.
Mm-hmm.
He can recognize social cues better than Stitch can.
Mm-hmm.
He's just as strong, just as capable in anything, and can make a really killer sandwich.
And that's all he cares about. His entire life, I want to make a better sandwich. That's it. And
that's a really tragic character when you think about it, because, like,
especially when he's stuck working with Gantu.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Gantu is also tragic, but kinda a little.
I guess a little bit. He's the recurring, like, the not bad cop, but the antagonizing good cop.
Yeah. There is some character growth with Gantu.
Yes.
In the movie, he's definitely the bad guy.
Yes.
I gotta bring this criminal to
Straight
justice.
up,
boom, whatever.
Straight up the villain.
But in the series, like, there's a depth to the character that he cares about more than just catching Stitch, and the other experiments. He doesn't outright hunt Lilo anymore, but, like, he'll try to protect her if she's inadvertently in harm's way.
So, I don't remember what the plot of the show was. Like, obviously they have to find all the experiments.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do?
He's trying to catch all of the experiments himself. So
For what purpose?
To put them in prison because they're abominations.
So he is still going after Stitch.
Yes, but not as much. Like, he's more concerned.
I guess Stitch is, like, the reformed criminal.
Yeah.
So they have to, like, sometimes, like, team up to find the hardened criminals.
Yeah, so he's going after the newly awakened experiments, because the little experiment balls, when they get wet, they transform into full experiments.
Yeah.
But they are just like Stitch was at the beginning of the movie.
They're just feral and...
Yeah. And have magic, for lack of a better term, powers that can, wreak havoc everywhere.
And they have to protect the Earth because we're, like, the last planet
Yeah,
in the known
mosquitoes
galaxy that has
are
mosquitoes.
an endangered species. And I like that Lilo tries to find a place for all of the experiments.
Yeah.
Like all of these experiments are misunderstood creatures, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a place for them in this world.
Yeah. The moral of each episode is, like, your uniqueness can be always.
Yeah.
You can always find a utility for your uniqueness.
Yeah. If you're willing to work for it.
Yes. We were talking about, what did I want to say? There was a place I wanted to go before we got to. Oh, we were talking about Gantu.
Yep.
That's another character trope in like cartoons and TV shows that I don't mind so much, like
the reformed villain.
Not so much the reformed villain, but like specifically the antagonistic cop archetype.
Like an anti-hero kind of thing.
I don't want to say anti-hero, but like clearly like more bad guy than good guy in the beginning, and then just slowly becomes more good guy, maybe even part of the team by the end.
Right. So like
think. Did you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds?
I was about to say Seto Kaiba, but yeah, sure. Trudge works too.
Yeah, Trudge was my example. Kaiba also kind of works. He doesn't fit the cop aesthetic.
Yeah.
But like no, like I guess I was thinking more along the lines of like lawman, like lawful, like lawful. Good and bad is not the requirement. It's lawful. It's like I obey the law. And all that implies,
and maybe slowly realizing that the laws that he's held himself to
are
really...
what the real problem is. Yeah.
And let's talk about 5Ds.
5Ds is awesome. You better not shit on my 5Ds.
I'm gonna. It's why are these people whose only crime is being poor getting tattooed and sent to prison because they're poor?
Because are we gonna have this argument again?
We're gonna have this argument
it's
again.
Because okay, there's no defending. There's no defending. Now that we're on a public forum and this isn't like a hypothetical argument between two guys in a grocery store aisle in the middle of the night putting stuff away. Now that this isn't that scene anymore and I have to actually defend New Domino City's actions.
Yep.
It's indefensible. If you're being poor is not a crime.
It's not just the, oh hey, we're going to send you to prison. Like why are they tattooing these people?
I guess it's this,
Yusei has a face tattoo.
It's a physical representation of like your criminal record.
Why?
I don't know. It drives the story.
I mean, sure.
Also,
I guess.
face tats are cool. Think about Yu-Gi-Oh! 1. Like Yugi had when he turned into the Pharaoh, he had the eye makeup.
Yeah, but there's face tattoos, and then there's face tattoo because you're a criminal, and those are two very different things there.
I don't like Yusei. I love 5Ds, but I don't like Yusei.
I never really got into 5Ds.
Yusei, so you're shitting on something that you have no context for.
I've watched quite a few episodes. I never watched the whole thing, and I actually stopped playing the game before that.
Yeah. Yusei is like this completely infallible character.
As are most protagonists.
But like, completely infallible. Like, perfect Boy Scout. Never corrupted, never... He's always a good guy. Like, his resolve is never tested.
Yeah, and that makes for a very Mary Sue character.
Yeah, which he is. But he's still enjoyable. Mm-hmm. I don't hate Yusei, I just wish he were more dynamic.
I think Crow is a better character.
Yes. Well, even Jack. Jack's a great character. He's the antagonist of, partial antagonist of Season 1. He stole Yusei's Duel Runner.
He's the Kaiba analogous.
Yeah, he stole Yusei's Duel Runner to make it to New Domino City, where he became a megastar in the Turbo Duel Championships with Yusei's Stardust Dragon, which he also stole.
So if Jack stole Yusei's Duel Runner and was able...
Why wasn't he sent to the facility?
Exactly.
Especially since it's revealed that Jack is from the satellite and Yusei is not.
It's all the more reason not to tattoo people.
No, Crow is a great character.
Yes. Crow cares less about...
It's always about helping the orphans at the end of the day.
As long as the people close to him are taken care of, nothing else matters.
What I don't like about Crow is where his deck came from. He pulled all the pieces of the Black Wings out of literally a junk heap of cards that nobody wanted. Black Wings, to this day, is still really, really good.
I mean, some things have to... You got to make some concessions there for story.
He can't just have a complete garbage deck, I know.
Yeah.
But, like, Yusei's makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like, he has a lot of cards that have synergy, but he also has cards that you wouldn't think to put in there.
Like Mushroom Man?
Yusei looks like a guy that would play Mushroom Man.
Intentionally.
I sucked back then. God, can we get Little Karibo on this show?
For those of you that don't know, prior to recording this episode, we watched an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
We watched a few, actually.
Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is such a great series.
Such a great show. I know he's going through, like, medical stuff, which is why, like, he's taking a hiatus from YouTube. But,
Yeah.
like, man, I will help him, like, make his show. So if anybody knows Lil Karibo and, like, has him watch our show and gets to this part, and he's like, yeah, I want to keep making Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, like, send me a business email. I would be more than happy to help you.
Whoa, boy.
A boy, Sky. Sky Waymo.
Darts is a great character. Like that whole story arc doesn't really make sense.
It does not fit the show.
Yeah. Like, the entire series up until then, this game is 5,000 years old from ancient Egypt. Just kidding, it's 10,000 years old from Atlantis.
It's twice as old, and it's from Atlantis, yeah.
But, like Darts has a reason for what he's doing. A lot of these antagonists, I'm just gonna be evil because I'm evil, but, like, there's a real depth to Darts' character. Yes, he's trying to end the world, but, like, he's seen his empire crumble around him. He's seen the people he loves and cares about turn into monsters.
Yeah. It's a problem. A real problem.
By bouncing their attack back between each other, I can become stronger than infinity.
I can make infinity. And then the third knight comes in for infinity +1. Destroying the Great Leviathan.
So stupid.
I love plot armor in TV shows. Are you kidding me? It's so good.
Hey, let's pull off that move that we totally didn't practice.
What I love really about Yu-Gi-Oh! The original series is, like, we were talking about this, the B stories. Mm-hmm. Where, like, what was that, the season 3, they were doing Battle City, but where on the way to the Battle City finals, they get pulled into, like, the Kaiba Corp.
Yep.
Not virtual sim, but, like, the mind compactor things.
Yep.
Put them in a virtual world where Gozaburo Kaiba was trying to escape in stasis. Yep. And they met Noah, and they had to do the whole Shinato's arc bit.
Which I think was, a decent filler arc.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, the timing of it was weird.
Yeah.
Like, it was just inserted between another arc.
Yeah. We already had the Battle City arc where, like, we had to play the game of, is Merrick a good guy or a bad guy? Because he shows his good face to the team, but he's a master manipulator behind the scenes. Yep. Then we figured out that he was the bad guy, so there's already all this momentum. Just finish the arc.
And now the rest of the team are locked inside these computers in a virtual space, and Merrick is just, chilling that whole time?
Yeah, the bad guy literally gets shelved for, like, 20 episodes. It's weird. But that's where I learned about investing.
It's because he's stuck at that door.
That part of the show is where I learned about investing.
How so?
Well, you know what I'm going to say, but for the people at home, so to be able to escape the virtual world, they have to beat not only Gozaburo Kaiba and Noah, his biological son, but they also have to beat, like, I think they called themselves the Fab Five, which were Gozaboro's top financial advisors. So like his council of yes men, essentially, that like ran Kaiba Corp. One of which had a particular beef with Kaiba because he was like the investment analyst who was like, I'm in charge of the money. Like, I know money better than anybody. And so he gave Kaiba a task. He said, you have 1 year to make, I'm going to give you $1 million. My father gave me a very small loan of $1 million. He gave Kaiba $1 million with the sole task of doubling it within a year's time. Kaiba proceeded to do it in a single day by investing all $1 million into 51% of a given stock. And then by owning majority of the company, liquidating everything for double profit. And then he handed all of it back to the guy, and he was like, I hate you. And that just like proved, like, even as a child, how like maniacally, not only ruthless, but like intelligent Kaiba is.
Like very cold and unfeeling. But
and it's just like, it's like this show taught me about like business ethics and like the etiquette of buying and selling and how to stifle all competitive all like everybody standing in your way.
And it wasn't just, oh hey, I'm going to liquidate everything. It was, you are going to buy this stock back from me or I'm going to fire everyone.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He didn't even it was just like an open threat. God. Man.
and this is when Kaiba is what, 12 years old?
Yeah,
something
he was
like that?
he was a child. He was adopted by Gozaboro by beating him in a chess game. Like,
yeah,
that's insane.
If you've only watched the anime, do yourself a favor and read the manga as well. There's so much more story in the manga than there is in the anime.
There's also Season 0 that you should watch.
Yes. So here's a fun fact that diehard Yu-Gi-Oh fans might know and casual players might not. Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't about a card game.
Nope.
It was just about games in general.
Duel Monsters just happened to take off.
Yeah. Some of the original games were like, you know, moral quandaries and like, I remember one game where it was just, oh hey, we're gonna roll a die and see who gets the higher number, and I think it was higher number loses.
I don't remember.
Either way, I it's been a while since I've read the manga, but I remember the die getting thrown. It must have been highest number loses. So Yugi rolls a 6. So of course he's going to lose. So the guy he's playing against whips the die at him. Yugi holds up his puzzle. It hits the puzzle, cracks the die in 2, and the guy rolls a 7 with 1 die. Because it lands, you know, half the broken die on a 6, half the broken die on a 1.
Yeah.
So the guy lost because he got too cocky because he thought he couldn't possibly lose.
Season 0, like, Yugi was, like, evil.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, like, in the TV show, they can't do much because, you know, 4Good censors a lot. But, like, I'm pretty sure Yugi straight up kills people.
Yeah,
in
Yugi
Season
has
0.
legitimately killed people, even in the TV show.
Yeah.
Like, Mind Crush is literally just banishing their soul to the Shadow Realm, leaving a lifeless husk behind.
Yeah, there's a very distinct difference between Kaiba in episode 1 and Kaiba in episode wherever he shows
every
up
other
again.
one.
Yeah. He's still a douche, but, like, not quite as evil.
Like, he's not downright evil.
He's not trying to kill Yugi's grandpa because he has the 4th blue eyes.
Which couldn't be played in Kaiba's deck anyway.
Yeah. It was less, I don't want anyone... It's less, I want this card, and more, I don't want anyone else to have this card.
It's like if you bought all the Black Lotuses.
Yep.
And just burned them all.
Yep.
But you yourself had 4 Black Lotuses. Are they on limit? Or are they just...
They're so rare that...
No one plays with them.
Yeah. If you're playing a deck with, what would it be, Legacy or Vintage or some old format where Black Lotus is still legal, if you're running Black Lotus, you probably don't care about playing the game and are just there to show off.
Yeah.
Especially if you're running more than one copy.
Now we're talking about Magic the Gathering. This is the card game hypotheticals.
Yep. I don't like the reserve list in Magic.
Yeah.
I feel like it's detrimental to the game as a whole. So the reserve list is a list of 9, a dozen, some number of cards that Wizards of the Coast has explicitly stated they will never reprint and will never have a functional reprint. So something that does the same thing but is called something else.
Yeah.
And I think that's detrimental because at its core, it's a game.
Yeah.
Like these cards are game pieces. You're meant to play with them. And people have turned it into collecting and oh hey, this used to be a game piece, but now it's my retirement fund.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I think it kills the spirit of it being a game.
Yeah. Speaking of card games and pieces specifically, I learned recently, thank you Pro Jared, and everybody that watches Pro Jared probably saw this video came out recently. There is a version of SimCity, the SimCity, that is a card game.
Interesting.
It is a 60 card standard deck, and it's not played like you would expect a SimCity to be played. Like everybody like draws a card, plays a card. Each card has a certain number of like population, has a certain amount of money that it generates from it, and so you have to keep track of your own population and your own money. And in the second phase of the game, you have to start like upgrading landscapes and stuff. It's this really weird card game that doesn't actually look too enjoyable. But it was made.
That's another thing. There are a lot of, oh hey, this is popular, let's merchandise the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, some IPs that works for, but others are very clear cash grabs and kills the IP entirely.
Yeah.
Like, so Transformers is a franchise I happen to enjoy. The only reason Transformers exists is because Reagan removed some rules on advertising to children. So the TV show came out, and then the toy line came out.
Literally immediately.
Yeah. And
G.I. Joe and He-Man, they all did it.
Yep. And some of those are okay. Others have kind of missed the point. Like, if I'm looking for a Transformer, if I'm looking for something to play with and enjoy, I want something complicated.
Yeah.
Like, I want something that...
Oh, you're talking about, like, new Transformers toys.
Yeah. So, the older Transformers, it was like 20, 30 steps between phases.
You'd have to fold in little pieces so that you could pull out larger pieces so you could twist those pieces.
And like, feats of engineering to get all these...
Yeah. In a compact toy.
And make it look like what you're trying to make it look like.
Yeah.
Whereas I've seen some Transformers now...
It's literally like push a button and it folds out.
Or even just turn it over.
Yeah.
Or something like that. 1 or 2 steps and boom, you're done.
Yeah.
And that just, like, that's not a Transformer, that's an action figure.
That's a cell phone.
Yeah.
It opens. Cell phones don't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
You remember the slide phones that they didn't just slide, but then like the top screen would like flip?
So, Yes. My first cell phone that was actually mine was a slide phone.
Yeah.
It didn't flip, but it was a slide phone.
Mine was
with
a slide.
full slide out
It
keyboard.
was a Samsung Intensity 2. It was ice blue. I used to be able to type a lot faster when I had a physical keyboard.
Yep.
I miss analog keyboard.
Yep. I do not like swipe keyboards and wish I could disable them because, like, I have fat fingers.
So do I.
And sometimes my phone will just start picking up inputs that I'm not actually putting in.
Yeah. And then, like, your your predictive text remembers all of your misspelled words.
Yep.
Or your words that aren't words.
Yep. Like, I've misspelled Ethereum so many times that my autocorrect thinks there's an I in it.
Yeah.
There's no I in Ethereum.
What I hate is I'll be texting Jess and she'll be asking about, like, my day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, like, she'll be asking me how I'm doing, like, if I've got a headache or something, she's just checking on me and make sure I'm okay. And I text back, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I leave out the apostrophe.
Im.
I am okay. Now, im is not a word.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of correcting it, my phone always just chooses to omit I'm.
What?
So it responds with okay. So now I look like I'm not doing okay. And I'm like, no, you stupid piece of garbage phone. I'm fine.
You know what I dislike more than swipe keyboards, though? Voice to text.
I've had hit and miss with voice to text.
I have as well. I don't use it, but I've seen people use it.
I don't use it anymore.
There are times where trying to speak correctly into the phone to get it to understand exactly what you're trying to say takes longer than just typing the message out. Especially when it messes up something early and you have to repeat your entire message two or three times. Just type it.
Yeah.
Especially because you're speaking, you're saying all of this out loud, and if you're, in a crowded area, you're just that crazy guy shouting the same message into his phone over and over again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What was it? When I first moved, I was transferred to a store. I worked in the electronics department that had analog handsets that could, like, plug into the headphone jack of your phone, which I thought was hilarious.
I love the novelty of it, yeah.
Like, it serves no purpose.
Absolutely. It makes you look like an idiot.
Yeah, but did I want one? Oh, hell yeah, I did.
I've seen Bluetooth gloves. Yeah, so, like, it's a Bluetooth receiver for your phone, but the microphone's in the pinky, and the earpiece
the receivers
is in the thumb,
and the...
so you actually talk like
That's
this.
Stupid. And I want one. What is it? Kids these days are going to be completely lost on the idea of being able to use both your hands on the phone.
Yep.
Because you crooked it in your elbow, or not your elbow, in your shoulder up to your head. Mm-hmm. Because the handset was large enough for you to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that with a cell phone anymore.
Yeah, phones are so tiny that you try to do that and you're just going to be awkwardly pinned
to
your shoulder.
And they're satiny smooth, so they slide past your shirt.
And if you're not using a life-proof case or something, you're just asking to have thousands of dollars destroyed.
There are so many girls, like school-age girls that I knew, well, then and now, because it's a trend. It's not a trend, it's just a thing that happens, where you see girls' phones, and it's like, it's an slightly older model iPhone, and the screen is just gone. Yep. There's nothing left of the screen. It's a pretty snowflake over where their screen used to be. And it's just like, they don't have the money to get that repaired, and they're always on it.
So, speaking about iPhones here, let's take a tangent here.
Wait, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yep.
That's the nature of the show.
So, right to repair is a
it's signed into law now.
yes, and thankfully things are moving forward with that. Did you know that if you remove the screen from an iPhone and replace it with the screen from another iPhone, it won't work?
Really?
Yes. So parts are essentially, I don't want to say serialized, but they know where they came from, and if it's not the same...
If it doesn't meet the same array?
Yeah. So if it's not part of the same phone that it was sent out from the factory from, it won't work, or won't work to its fullest potential.
So, is there a way to have is there a uniform serial code that you could find a working screen? I'm
not really sure on that.
Or is it like everything gets its own screen and it's like a fingerprint?
It's more so that.
Okay.
So what Apple wants you to do is to take it to an authorized Apple repair service, and essentially they'll just give you a new phone.
Yeah.
Whereas you probably don't need that.
Yeah.
But like if all that's wrong with your phone is that the screen's a little cracked, just replace the screen at cell phone repair shop, and it should be all good.
Yeah, it costs you like $30 if that.
Yeah, just parts and labor, whatever.
Yeah.
But like Apple is so adamant on controlling their product that you can't repair things yourself.
Yeah.
And they will stymie you every step of the way. So I have nothing to back this up, and it could just be in my own head, but I believe I read somewhere that Apple hires people to pretend to be customers in these stores.
That's not a bad gig.
Just to make the store not look empty, and it looks like, everyone's interested in iPhones.
The idea of getting paid to do nothing, I think, resonates with a lot of people.
I think it's more than just doing nothing. You have to look like you're super interested and make other people think that, oh, hey, buying an iPhone is such a great thing.
Faking enthusiasm is such an easy thing to do.
Not well. Yeah, you can fake enthusiasm. I don't.
Why do you think I do this show with you?
I don't know how to do normal enthusiasm well. It's difficult to come off as real when you're obviously faking things.
Yeah.
And I think people can see that if they're looking for it.
It's like those commercials for like medications and stuff, and it always says actor portrayals, not real patients. Which I'd imagine the gritty realism of a patient talking about a medication is exactly what you want. Well, actually, that's not what I want, because you shouldn't be marketing drugs to people.
Just about to get to that. Why do we have advertisements for medications?
Like, I like the idea of the common man taking like control of his own health and like what he gets put on and stuff, but it's your doctor's the informed one. They're the one that gets to make the decision about like what we should be doing for your treatment.
Well, there should be a give and take there. It shouldn't all be your word or all be the doctor's word, because sometimes
the doctor's supposed to work with you.
Yes. My point is, though, some doctors don't. Like, they say, I'm a doctor, I'm correct, everyone else is wrong, even if, like, new information has come out saying, oh, hey, maybe we shouldn't fill people with leeches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, more so, a doctor's job is to work with a patient to find the best means of treatment for anything. If I were a doctor and somebody came to me with an infection, I'm not going to give them a homeopathic remedy. I'm going to give them antibiotics. I'm going to give them what they need. But if they were suffering from, like, a persisting cough, and there didn't seem to be, like, signs of, like, airway inflammation or, like, any type of allergic reaction, sure, try drinking more tea. Try, like, drink more water. Like, keep your body, like, lubricated and flushed. Like, just, like, obviously try the easy things. I don't want to give you, like, a heavy prescription medication that you're probably going to be like not addicted to, but like chemically dependent on for the rest of your life.
You have a slight cough. Now you're addicted to narcotics.
Exactly. That I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. No, there has to be a give and take. But what I also, and I despise this, and I talk with Jess about this on a regular basis, is I hate it when doctors come up with a perfectly fine medical treatment plan.
Yep.
That is approved and then later denied for continued treatment by the insurance company.
Yep.
The insurance company aren't doctors.
Yep.
Why do you get to say how I get to work my treatment?
Yep.
And I hate that.
And why are people not getting the treatment they need? Because, oh, hey, too expensive. We don't want to pay for that.
That's what you're for.
Exactly.
That's why I have you. And it's like doctors hate it too. Mm-hmm. It's not just me. Like all doctors that have to deal with insurance companies, they hate it too.
We mentioned this a while back. There's no reason for like medical equipment or treatments to be as expensive as they are.
Yeah.
What is it? William Osman built an X-ray machine in his garage for like $100.
Yeah.
The most expensive part was the camera.
Yeah. You got to pay all that money to insurance, and they have to deny you to keep all the money in their bank of all the monthly fees that people are paying them to keep their insurance.
Yep.
So if they just hand it out, just like, for example, if they had to keep like shelling out a monthly $5,000 treatment to everyone that needed that $5,000 monthly treatment.
So let's say you're a cancer patient and need chemo.
Yeah.
That gets pricey very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And your insurance just denies this treatment that you need to live.
What's even worse is when they approve it before.
Yep.
It's like, yep, we'll approve you for this treatment. Everything's good. Go do the thing. And then you're like, okay, I need to have... It's a chronic problem. And then you're like, okay, so insurance, I need you to cover me for this thing you've already approved. No, it's denied. Why? It's too expensive. You approved it before. Well, we didn't know you'd need it again.
Yep.
This is a chronic condition. You knew that when you approved it. Well,
and it's like that with generic drugs as well.
Yeah.
You'll talk with your doctor. They'll write your prescription for some name brand something. Your insurance will fill it. And then the next time you go back, oh, hey, yeah, no, you're getting the generic now that has all of these side effects that you didn't talk with your doctor about.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. Insurance companies shouldn't be making those decisions.
Yeah. And I love that as an individual that doesn't work in that field or live in that space, that's something that I know. That's something a lot of people know and a lot of people complain about because it's actually a problem.
The unfortunate part is that what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, figuring something out. I say we tip something over. Man, SpongeBob's old.
Yeah.
On no other show can you talk about health insurance and then go right to SpongeBob. It doesn't happen. Only here.
Welcome to Deviating Tangents.
Welcome to Deviating Tangents, where we do that. 1998 was the Help Wanted episode. That would play for a year before...
Spatula with port and starboard attachments.
And turbo drive. Don't come back till you get one. You're terrible. A hydro what? It's such a prolific...
And he finds it, too.
Yeah!
This thing that, oh, hey, we just made up because we want to get this kid away from us for a while. He actually found...
Only SpongeBob could find that. Now Viacom's going to, send me a nasty email. Stop talking about our show. I have nothing but highest regard for the show. Even in the later seasons, they were still working on it, and it still had so much momentum that it's like Mickey Mouse. It can't be stopped.
what I dislike is the creator. I, for whatever reason, I forget his name now.
The OG creator.
Yeah,
Steven Hillenburg.
Okay, so Steven Hillenburg was very adamant about no spin-offs.
Yes, I was gonna say that if you didn't.
And as soon as he passed away,
3 shows were greenlit.
Yep. And taking a creator's vision like that and tainting it into it's the Transformers argument.
Yeah. It's just you're making your shareholders happy.
Yeah.
Because SpongeBob makes so much money.
Yep. And there's more to life than shareholder value.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason
why
the insurance companies
I get it, your money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
But you need to keep artistic integrity.
Yeah. Like, oh hey, here's Spider-Man. Also he can fly now.
Just because.
Yeah, we can sell more toys that way.
Stan Lee died, so there's a type of Brazilian spider that can fly, so this new Spider-Man is one of those.
And he shoots lasers.
Because we got this is an Australian Spider-Man that he bites you and you have an erection that lasts for I think that's another Brazilian spider. Well, yeah, I believe that's the Brazilian wandering spider. So there's a lot of scary stuff in South America.
Yeah, and in Australia.
Yeah, everything in Australia is designed to kill you.
Yes, even the koalas.
They don't call them drop bears for nothing.
just walking through the outback, and then all of a sudden a koala drops on you.
And it pees on you, and you get chlamydia.
And the weird cubic poo.
Yeah.
What?
Is that them? I thought that was capybaras.
It's definitely capybara. It might also be koalas, but either way, like, I question the logistics.
That's not how sphincters work.
Yeah. I don't want to do a deep dive into the gastrointestinal system of a capybara, but
I'm just curious how the sphincter works.
I don't have the answers
it's a Minecraft animal.
Hey, Notch, if you're listening.
You feed it whatever capybaras eat, and it gives you dirt blocks.
Oh, that's...
that you can build a house with. We went from SpongeBob to the Australian outback to Minecraft. Welcome to Deviating Tangents, where we do that.
To quantum mechanics. Let's talk about this.
The mod scene, the Minecraft modding scene.
Yes, so Minecraft mods are just so insane what people have done with them. I remember an old mod that was centered around quantum mechanics. You could quantum entangle blocks to the point where acting on one would also act on the other. There was observation states. So if you looked at a block from a specific side, it would have the properties of some block, but if you looked at it from a different side, it would have the properties of a different block.
Yeah.
Even if one of those blocks was affected by gravity and the other wasn't, it would take on the correct properties while looking at it from that side.
Yeah.
And like the author of that mod went on to like win some kind of prize in quantum engineering for it.
That's crazy.
And like one of my favorite mods for Minecraft is Rotary Craft. And it is such a huge concept for a Minecraft mod. It brings real world nuclear reactors into Minecraft. Like, complete with needing to kickstart the reaction with a jolt of power. And like, if you do it wrong enough, then that entire area of the map is uninhabitable for several real world years. Yeah. Because it's irradiated. And like,
Chernobyl, the Minecraft mod.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And this is, just amateur programmers writing in Java for a game that was just, a hobby, something for Notch to do in his spare time.
Yeah.
And now, quantum mechanics and nuclear fusion.
Yeah. I had made a joke that is absolutely something you could do in Minecraft with the right mod packs and enough coding knowledge. It's a common, so in the programming business, it is the golden, it is essentially, it's the holy grail to always be on the lookout for different computing systems that you can use to run Doom.
Mm-hmm.
There are computing Minecraft mods where you can code in a computer that runs Doom, that in this game of Doom that you're playing on a computer in your Minecraft game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 2 levels of inception there. There's a computer in the background of the Doom game you're playing that runs Minecraft,
mm-hmm.
that also runs Doom.
And here's something that's going to blow your mind even more. You don't need mods. So you can build fully functional computers with just vanilla redstone mechanics.
That's gross.
I believe with just vanilla redstone and some command block trickery, someone built an emulator to play Pokemon Red in its entirety inside Minecraft. With no mods.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, fun times.
And then they set that up for Twitch, and then Twitch plays it from their Minecraft account. Oh my God. That's not okay. Vanilla?
Yeah.
That's stupid. Mojang's still charging $20 to play this video game.
I love Minecraft, specifically modded Minecraft and autocrafting, because of what it is.
Yeah. So,
autocrafting, let's say you want to craft something that requires some kind of machine processing to do with multiple steps. So to set up all of these machines and make the system be able to autocraft on demand, you're essentially writing a program using someone else's code to interact with someone else's code that is running entirely within someone else's code on your computer.
Yeah.
So you are like 2 or 3 steps removed abstract programming.
Yeah.
And that's just insane to me, and I love every minute of it.
Scott, what would happen if a leprechaun walked up to you and he bit you on the knee, and in your vision everything was like tinted green slightly for the rest of your life?
Well, first I would question, how high am I? And so is this an actual leprechaun, or like just someone I perceive as a leprechaun,
magical Irish creature? Yes.
All right. How green we talking here?
Just like 2%. Everything's normal, but there's like a slight, like tiny bit of green tint.
So like I'm looking through transparent film.
Sure.
All right. I guess I would have to learn to live with it to some point. I guess I don't know what can. He's a magical creature. There's no science way to remove that.
No. I don't know. I'm just curious if you had some kind of. What if it?
So, I guess it would depend on. Does it change my eyes or does it change my brain?
I suppose in this case it would change your brain.
Okay, that's a little more difficult to deal with. Because like we're making strides in cybernetic technology. You could have your eyes replaced.
Yeah.
You can't really do that with your brain.
Yet.
Yet. Yeah, that's true.
We have sleeves you can put over your heart and make a beat forever.
I suppose as we move closer to augmenting our own bodies with cybernetics, something like that could be corrected, I guess.
The only cybernetic augmentation that I think would be... this would be the point where I jump on, would be for me to be able to play Pokemon Go without needing my phone. I want to walk down the street.
Let's elaborate on
and
that.
see a Bulbasaur and be like, I want it, and then I just get it.
Okay, so this Bulbasaur only exists within your vision and it is not actually in the world.
It's in a simulated program that other people running the same augmented reality generator that I am can also see it.
Okay, and can you touch it?
For the sake of simplicity, no.
Okay. Yes, I believe that would be interesting if you could turn it off.
Well, yeah. I just want it to be like an application that I can open.
Okay, yeah.
And it uses like Google Maps to be like, oh, a Jolteon goes here.
The issue I have with that is constantly being tracked.
Yeah.
But that's something that we already have to deal
everything
with.
Everybody is skeptical about already anyway.
But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. A just seamless augmented reality like that.
Yeah. Like you can play Yu-Gi-Oh in real time.
Yes, with realistic dual discs.
That'd be so cool.
I would love to see something.
I would
like
write that code.
It's been so long since I've done any programming. I want to do more.
Yeah.
So there is a Minecraft mod called Computercraft that just adds a Lua interpreter to the game. So now you have a direct way to program in Minecraft if you're writing in Lua. And it can do all of the things that you can do with Lua on top of having built-in functions that directly interface with the game.
Yeah.
On top of that, so here's where things get really fun. Minecraft is a sandbox game, but doesn't run in a sandbox.
No.
So you can still interface with things outside the game while the game is running. Computercraft facilitates that, but it's not required. Again, you can do things with vanilla and command box.
Yeah.
There's an add-on for Computercraft because, of course, mods for Minecraft also have mods for themselves.
Yeah.
That's basically an internet radio station. So, like, you can listen to radio stations from around the internet within Minecraft because of these mods. On top of that, there's bilateral communication. So, like, you can send commands from Minecraft to the outside world.
Yeah.
We've seen before on Game Theory, they made a video call within Minecraft from vanilla. Granted, it was a special release that they partnered with Verizon to pull off, but like...
The fact that is capable.
Yeah. Just, I love Minecraft. I love what people do with it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, speaking of like actual things people are doing with it, not just fun little tech projects. So there's this Minecraft server out there that is a massive library. And like all of the books in the library are actual real world books. So like if you're in a country where these books are outlawed, you can just hop on Minecraft, join the server, and boom, the book is right there for you to read whenever you want.
It's like the Library of Alexandria in a Minecraft server. That's pretty neat.
There have been huge projects within Minecraft. Like entire countries being mapped out one-to-one in Minecraft.
Yeah.
So like
even like the scaled down ones.
Yeah. You can go on a world tour and experience things that you would never be able to experience because of Minecraft.
I don't like it.
It's not a game for everyone.
No, I mean, I love the game, but like I don't like how it's not simple because doing it is complicated. But the fact that I can ask, can I do this? And the answer is yes.
Yeah. Regardless of what the question is, it's yes.
It can be contrived as hell, but the answer is yes. I don't like it.
I mean, that's an allegory for life, though, isn't it? Like,
yes.
If you try hard enough, whatever you can think up, you can do.
Yeah. I didn't want that to be the catalyst for that statement to be, made into reality, but... Man, I'm just waiting for Cliffs and Caves too. You're over here talking about Rotary Craft and Math Craft and Kraft Mac and Cheese Adventure.
The downside with the Rotary Craft, and it's my one gripe with it, and it's not enough to actually be a gripe. So the creator of this mod doesn't like newer updates to Minecraft. So if you want to play Rotary Craft, you are stuck on 1.7.10. So the Caves and Cliffs update, I don't have access to. Yeah.
Well, if that's what you wanted.
Yeah, if I want to play with Rotary Craft, I don't have access to those updates. Whereas if I want to play those updates, I don't have access to Rotary Craft.
Yeah.
Which is fine, whatever.
Remember Bees came out and that was a big deal?
To the point where they were added to the base game.
Yes.
In some form, yeah.
Apparently I think they're part of Caves and Cliffs 1, axolotls. Or I think it's just pronounced alotl.
Something like that, yeah.
Because it's that type of word. I think the X is just silent. The
little salamander things.
Yes. The water salamanders with the funny looking faces. Where them being incorporated into the game gave people, it's Minecraft, so the widespread appeal was getting people to ask the question, those little guys are cute, what are they? Which is causing people to do research to find out that, they're an endangered species, which is helping people to now save alotls from extinction.
And that's happened before. So Minecraft has such a wide reach and such a wide appeal that they need to be careful on what they add.
Yeah.
So when they added parrots to the game, people were actually giving them cookies because when they were first added to the game, to breed them to get more to whatever, you would give them cookies because, probably want a cracker, whatever.
Yeah.
It turns out that in the real world, cookies are very dangerous to give to birds.
Like grains of any kind.
Yeah.
You can't feed birds rice.
To the point where Mojang was like, yeah, no, we are changing this immediately because birds are dying. And so they just changed it to normal seeds, and that's great.
I think it's crazy when you have something that is that big.
Yeah.
Like world renowned, because I don't feel like I'd be wrong in saying Minecraft is world renowned.
So to quote Uncle Ben here, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. And that not that it can get away from people, because my example here is when a company has a thing, or at least has enough reach to meet so many people, and to give them all the same idea. Like, you had to change how parrots work because people are killing birds.
Yeah.
That's like when Disney released 101 Dalmatians, and suddenly
and everyone wants a Dalmatian.
The breed.
Yep.
With no real knowledge of how to take care of a Dalmatian because they're a very labor-intensive breed to take care of.
And Halloween movies and black cats and animal shelters restricting the adoption of black cats during October.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did not understand where my brain was not making the connection there. So it's like, no, you can't adopt black cats. My brain went for like a superstitious reason, not because you're going to use it as a prop on your Instagram and then abandon it.
Yeah.
because that's what the actual harm is. I'm like, what?
Instagram is so toxic.
Like what? The SPCA is gonna prevent me from adopting a black cat on Halloween because like it's bad juju or whatever. It's like, no, it's because you're gonna get pictures with it. And then
Yeah, exactly.
that's no. Black cats are adorable.
Yep.
Jess's dad has a black cat. His name is Yo. His name at the shelter was Hugh, but but her dad changed it to Yo just because they live together. That's it. It's him and the cat.
Yeah.
So when he comes home, the cat greets him at the door. He's like, Yo, and the cat's just like, hi.
So I had a cat whose name was Cat because she was so vicious. She was a stray.
Yeah.
So was probably abused, was abandoned, you know. And we took her to the vet to get fixed because that's what you do when you're a responsible pet owner.
That's what you do with a pet.
And of course the vet needs a name on the form. You can't call your animal nasty names on a form like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'll just come right. You can't call a cat a bitch to your vet. That's not. You can't do that. So officially, the cat's name was Cat.
That's funny.
and like, it was so bad that so we sent the cat to the vet to get fixed. She got stitches, and then the cat came home, and of course, you know, have to bring back sometime later to get the stitches out. My mother was working all the time at the time, and like couldn't find time to bring the cat back to the vet, so she called up and was like, "Hey, can I just remove these stitches myself?" And the vet was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds like an okay idea. We don't really want her back anyway." Because she was such a terror with just the short time that the vet had her that they didn't want anything to do with her ever again.
That's horrible.
and like, this was not a cat that you could pet. This was a cat that
you could look at.
You put your hand down near the ground,
and she decided whether or not to be touched by it.
She would rub up against you, and that was it. If you moved at all, you were getting attacked.
My favorite, I've had a bunch of cats. Probably one of my favorite cat stories. We had an orange tabby. Well, okay, let me predate this. I want to say the summer of 2004, 2005, my mother got two cats, two sisters. We were originally going to get one cat, but they were the only girls in the litter, and she didn't want them separated.
Yeah.
So she got two cats. Their names were Esme and Yzma. Esme named after the snake from Foul Play that Burgess Meredith owns. And Yzma, the bad guy from Emperor's New Groove. And their names were very similar, so which is why we did it like that. And they were just normal, short, domestic house cats. Short hair, domestic short hair house cats. White and black with Yzma had splotches of brown on her. And so we had them for a long time. And they were caring cats. Like, we got them fixed. Mom got them declawed. And I know that there's a whole thing with that, and I'm not getting into that. That's not the point. They were up to date on their shots. They were well loved. We've had them since kittenhood. They were never feral cats. And we loved them. But they were litter mates. They bonded to each other more than anyone in the house. You could walk up to one of these cats and pet them, and they would, like, totally dig it. But they weren't going to, like, wander into your room at night and sleep with you because you were their best friend. The other one was their best friend. And they were always together. So we just kind of accepted that, okay, the cats want to be with themselves. So when we moved out of my grandparents' house and to our own place for the first time, Mom's like, I'm getting another cat. So she got an orange tabby cat that we thought was a girl. Now,
those are always the best.
The older cats at this point are like 7, 8 years old, and this is a kitten. And these two cats have only ever known themselves. And one other cat. But we won't talk about Floppy, because just wasn't our cat. It was my Uncle Steven's cat, and then he moved, and grandparents kept the cat, and just family cat, like a distant relative cat. But that was the only other cat that Esme and Yzma knew. So we bring home this orange tabby cat, who Brave had just recently came out, so we named the cat Merida. Time comes to get the cat fixed. We get a call from the vet. So it turns out Merida is a boy, but his male anatomy is very small. So Merida went nameless for a long time because we did not know what to name this cat. We had settled on Merida, which you don't have to give a cat a gender-specific name. But it just felt weird to us calling a boy cat a female name. We tried Meridude for a while, didn't stick. And so this cat was just kind of like, we didn't know what to call our orange cat until we brought home another kitten. I should mention that the other cats did not take very well to the orange tabby. So,
well, of course, he's
exactly. Male. He was an outsider, and so it's like they all became pack mates eventually.
Yeah.
But like, so he got close to us. So especially with me, like he loved me. And so like this was like the cuddly cat. Like if you leave your door open, like he'll try to get in and then you open up the door. He's like, hi. And then you sit in your chair and he hops up on your lap and then you can't go anywhere for hours at a time.
Oh, of course.
He was that. So he did not get a name until we brought home another little cat. Just a black, like black and white, almost Mancoon shaped, but like just another domestic short hair tabby cat. And seeing our orange cat tower over this tiny little kitten, I had the idea. To this day, I'm now conflicted because Mom likes to believe she came up with the idea. It is ingrained in my brain that it was my idea, and I will fight tooth and nail to argue that it was in fact my idea. That watching the tall, lanky, tiger-designed cat over the tiny little feisty thing, they got the names Calvin and Hobbes. So our black, tiny little kitten was named Calvin, and then lanky tiger Hobbes. They were my favorite cats I've ever owned. They got along well with each other. Calvin loved me. Hobbes loved me too. But I was working nights at the time, so Mom and my brother would be at work, and Calvin was a kitten when we got him. And so I'm like, I'm going to keep you separated from the other cats just so that you can like get used to the house. And so I'm home with Calvin all day. And he's like sleeping on my shoulder, this tiny little purring thing. And so I think he attached to me the most. And so, yeah, just adorable cat, and I miss him. So that's my cat story.
How great are cats?
They're awesome.
Like I know
they've been worshipped as deities long before the internet. Like go back to ancient Egypt, and the Egyptians were praising cats.
Yep. There's a big divide out there with you know, cat people versus dog people, and like I can understand the appeal of dogs, but like I'm always gonna prefer cats.
I think you can have a preference. I'm more the argument of animal lover versus not animal lover.
Yeah.
If you don't like animals, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I used to think I was a cat person, and I loved my cats. But when I had a dog that was my dog for the first time, I was like, I'm a dog person. Like, this is my child. I know that's an argument that people are like, oh, it's not like it's your own flesh and blood. It's not like a child. Stop treating it like a child. This is my child, asshole.
Yeah. I think I prefer cats over dogs, specifically because cats are so independent.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need you. Of course, you're going to take care of them and love them and cuddle them.
They want you to believe they don't need you.
Yeah, that's fair. Whereas, like, dogs are not that deceitful. They need you, and they are very upfront that they need you.
Yeah, I like that honesty in an animal.
That's fair.
There's no better pet.
Yeah, it's all personal.
Like,
preference.
if you have a cat and a dog, I just hope they don't hate each other.
Yeah.
And I hate you because you have animals and I don't.
Well, oh, okay, that's not the statement I thought you were going to make, but that works.
It's like, Jess will be watching TikTok videos, and she's like, look at the cute puppy, and I'm like, I want him.
And that's why, like, I'm excited to actually move out on my own to a place where I make all the rules, because I want animals.
You want a cat, yeah. I know you've been saying for years you want your little kitty cat. We keep going to, because Jess is really into hamsters.
Yeah.
She grew up, she's had a bunch of hamsters. And it's like, she could get a hamster. I would have no objections with that and have one in this apartment. I can't get a dog until I have a house. More so for moral objection.
Yeah.
I want my dog to have a large house.
Because they need a lot of space.
Yes. I want them to have a house that they don't feel cramped in. And I want them to have a yard that they can play in. This isn't... It's not... It's not an anti-pet area, but it's like, you're not really supposed to have pets here.
Yeah. And like, there's a very big difference between pets for, like, oh, hey, this is a beta, is a fish.
This is a tiny little fish.
Yeah, it takes up 1 square foot of the counter space. Whereas, something like a dog, you need acres.
Yeah. When, fun fact about animals, if you are signing I don't want to be the guy that like gets people in trouble with their lease, but if you're living in an apartment that does not allow animals are cats and dogs. They are free roaming creatures. If you have anything that is relegated to a tank or a cage, that is considered furniture. Hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, fish, reptiles, insects, furniture. It's all furniture.
I would check with your local laws and your lease agreement before trying to sit on a hamster, though.
Yes. Obviously. Because that's what you really need to dispute in court. I don't know, Your Honor. It said right here in the lease that this snake is 100% couch. Some snakes can be as big as couches.
It's a snake leather couch. We just haven't made it that far yet.
If he eats a few more of the neighborhood dogs, then... I got him as a snake stool. Quickly, he became a snake chair, and then somehow a snake love seat. We're working on the couch, and then from there we might go sectional, but I don't know yet. Snake sectional, a snake-tional.
Oh boy, we're gonna get calls from PETA.
Look, I'm not gonna force a snake to eat something it doesn't want to. It's not my fault he ate my neighbor. That's what he wanted. I said, well, you're my son, so I'll get you your own neighbor to eat, I guess.
And now that apartment is available for you to give the snake its own apartment.
And that guy's been living here for years. You can raise the rent on the place. God, what a messy episode this has been.
Welcome to Deviating Tangents,
where we do that. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been a wonderful episode 2. Now that we actually have a name for the show, this is it. Like, episode 1 was a thing, and episode 2 is more of the same thing. So, if this is your cup of tea, if you like watching the sprawling, continuing, downward spiraling madness of two people that can seemingly take completely unrelated points and 6 degrees of separation them together somehow.
Yep.
Then this is the show for you.
Everything is Kevin Bacon. So I mentioned that. We're doing the outro, but I gotta say this. So I was talking to someone the other day, and I mentioned 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and like they looked at me like I had 6 heads because who's Kevin Bacon? What are you talking about?
What do you mean who's Kevin Bacon?
Right?
Come on.
Even if you don't know or care who Kevin Bacon is, like, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon is such a ubiquitous term that, like, you should be able to know what that means, even if you don't know who
My
he
grandfather got a picture with him
Nice.
at Turning Stone during Christmas. I think I don't remember what he was even doing in town, but yeah, my grandfather met Kevin Bacon. I have nowhere to go from there.
And there's your 6 degrees.
The show's over. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Whatever time you're listening to this, I don't know if you're enjoying or trying to stave off your daily commute, or if you're having a lunch break, or if lunch is boring and you need something to do.
Or you just want to drown out your boss.
That's another good. That's a good way to use this show if you want. But thank you everybody so much for listening. We'll see you guys next time with a new Deviating Tangent.
See you next week.